Good morning. I am on my morning jog and I found a plant that I want to talk to you about. And I'm going to talk about what I'm going to call the if it's natural, it's safe fallacy, or if it's natural, it's beneficial or it's good. It's something that I hear all the time in order to justify things, anything really, but so this behind me here, you can see this plant with the little white flowers, and it's got a purplish colored stem. It is known as poison hemlock. It is extremely deadly to humans and animals. Even a small amount of its flowers or leaves could be fatal. In fact, this was the plant that was used to kill Socrates in Greece, in ancient Greece, as part of his capital punishment. So this is a clear example of a violation of the statement that if it's natural, it's safe, or if it's natural, it's good for you. This is fatal. It'll kill you. And so there's tons of plants like this that are very poisonous, and sometimes poisonous plants are used medicinally. We call them low-dose herbs because if you take them at a high dose, it'll have a toxic or even fatal effect. So an example of that would be poke root. Okay, so that's a commonly used plant in naturopathic medicine. So you have to be low-dose herbs have to be used by a professional. I'm not aware of any medicinal benefits of hemlock. I think it's just dangerous. Now, I could be wrong, but so we want to avoid that fallacy of saying if it's safe, then it's natural. So examples of this, probably my top one would be marijuana. Okay, so some of my colleagues are pro-marijuana or CBD oil, and anyone who's been in initial consultation with me generally knows that I'm opposed to that because the effects of marijuana are going to destroy your nervous system. It's a numbing agent. And I even had a patient say that verbatim yesterday. She said she uses marijuana because it numbs her emotional pain. And so, but it doesn't fix it. You have to keep on taking it and keep numbing it. Okay, so that's not a good solution. It'll cause far greater health problems down the road. CBD to some extent is also going to have harmful effects if taken on an ongoing basis. And I consider both those, someone taking those substances is incompatible with my practice. Another one that might surprise you would be eating honey. So I battle this one all the time. And why does honey not work as food, by the way? Because I take it all the time as medicine. If I have a respiratory infection, I want honey in my tea. But it doesn't work as food. So I'm really careful with sweeteners in general and tell my patients not to, you have to reduce sweeteners. And so, that's first and foremost. But honey specifically just doesn't seem to work in my clinical experience. And, that was a clinical pearl that was passed down to me from Victor Frank. He said, honey is medicine, not food. And I've found that consistent with my 10 years of practice, that honey will keep people from reaching their health goals. So be really careful of saying that. Certainly I am pro things that are natural. I think things that are synthetically made are much more likely to be harmful or hazardous to your health, and largely should not be ingested or can be poisonous to some extent. You know, there are some things, so some vitamins that are essentially made synthetically. Now they're not made from chemicals, but they might be grown with yeast cultures or something. And so there are benefit to some of those. So it's a bit of a hairy thing. Most of the time, natural is better than synthetic. Anything that comes in a box or a package will kill you. So that's my statement against processed food. There was I was at a seminar, and the teacher, the lecturer, said, "You have to start reading labels." And then someone, another doctor in the audience, said, "Stop eating things that have labels." So I agree with the latter, and it's very challenging to do. So you just do the best you can. You got to reduce processed foods. You want to be in control of the ingredients, and you do want your food to be as natural as possible, as untainted by industry and untainted as possible. Now, there are ways of making food work better, then that might be worth another video, such as sourdough bread can be a great thing. So you're fermenting the bread, or with milk you ferment it and you make yogurt, and that is clearly a better form of eating that food. With cabbage, I don't want to eat raw cabbage anymore. It harms your thyroid. It sequesters your iodine. So some things do need to be modified, but they're not synthetic. That's something that it's under your control. I ferment my own yogurt. I cook my own cabbage, and if you cook it, it makes it work better. Okay, so I don't want to make this video too long, but second guess this idea and watch out for advertising, because that's how they get you too. They try and say this is natural. Usually it's not natural, it's in a box. And so watch out for that one. Thanks.